I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my...
Where I made my big mistake was then I had another idea and I was in a hurry to get to that other idea. And so when I gave Deb my critique, I kind of zipped past the, well, this didn't work for me, but here's this idea. And you didn't like that.
I thought it was a bad idea.
Right, but it wasn't just that you thought mine was a bad idea. You felt
I thought the delivery was bad. I thought I was listening to really bad editorial advice, and I thought it was pretty clear that you hadn't. I didn't think that you'd read my new draft, other than some quick thing on the surface. You didn't see it in terms of possibilities. You didn't. I didn't think that you saw what it was about. I was like stunned because I was sitting there waiting to make some editorial notes because this was an editorial session, and I'm over my keyboard and the stuff's going by, and I realise I can't make a note about that because there's nothing there and there's nothing in that one, and that's just telling me why it doesn't work here and why it doesn't work there. And then I looked up and there was nothing to be had, and then I thought, he's full of shit.
We don't obviously have this entirely worked out yet. It got worse and worse because Deborah was feeling, I guess, that I hadn't listened to the original idea. I was feeling, I'm just trying to tell you something, you know, you're not giving me a chance. And it accelerated and accelerated and accelerated until finally we were in that mode that some people get into and Deborah and I always have to work on, which is, I want to finish the argument, and Deborah wants me to go away and die. Not necessarily in that order. So, I don't remember what it was that finally... Oh, then it went into a whole other subject that had to do with who is supportive of who, and, you know, who really, you know, I don't know. Motherhood, Christmas...
We get asked a lot about how we work together, and we get asked a lot about the cogs and pulleys of collaboration. And this is one of those times when the engine wasn't functioning that well.
Yeah, I just needed to get out. I knew that at this point, at least I had the savvy to realize that there was no going further with Deb at this point. That you know, I had gone too far as it was, because she doesn't respond well to continuing the argument past the point where she can hear it. I'm talking a lot. Is there, I mean, am I saying anything that you don't agree with?
There's a character in the Shadow March novels who's modelled on me in a flaming bad temper. Which one's that? You know, it's the hedgehog lady.
Oh yes, Lady Porcupine. Yes.
Lady Porcupine.
Yes,
Isames. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that until the second volume. I didn't know whether to be offended or delighted.
She's modeled on you and your temper. She doesn't have all of the good qualities, obviously. So anyway, so I stomped out. I drove for miles and miles. I stopped and ran an errand. I will confess that. Yes.
She's the chief baddie, though, isn't she?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
the chief baddie is Shadow March.
Yes, but she is
Shadow March novels.
Yeah, but she's not you. She is a crystallization of what I perceive as your scary aspect when you're angry. That's what she is. So I drove along, stopped briefly at Target to buy a cheap CD player for the kids because I knew we had to do that. And I knew I wasn't really leaving home. That's the other tragic thing, is that when I have fights occasionally with Deb, and we don't have many, but when I have a bad fight with Deb, it's not even like I can convince myself that I'm going to go find a better life somewhere, because I'm totally in love and I have kids and a home that I love and dogs that I tolerate. And, you know, I'm coming home. I know I'm coming home. So it's just a question of how long I'm going to be out there driving down the El Camino, which isn't all that interesting, really.
We have just evolved as, that's me, Tad and Steve, our filmmaker. What we've just evolved while we're sitting here is we are going to continue the story of Deb and Tad's creative struggle and what happened to the work in particular, which is a script for a picture book. next week or next episode.
Maybe we should do it like American Idol, and everybody can phone in on a 1-900 number and vote for me to be the winner.
And then vote it off the island.
Well, anyway, we'll bring it back because it's actually there's a lot of issues here that are about the creative process. There was also bad temper, which is unfortunate, but there were a lot of issues about collaboration and whose ideas can be dominant, or can you collaborate without one person taking the lead on something. And